it really is. I love that analogy of making a soup, right? It's like one ingredient in the soup is the ketamine. And so you have the ability, when you're doing multiple sessions, you have the ability to try it different ways of like, okay, for this session, I'll do this. For this session, I'll try that. And just like be experimental with it, right? This is an experimental therapy, not just like the macro, like meta. It is experimental, but also like every session can be different as well. And that's the power of integration, is that you get to like really work with someone to troubleshoot what works and what doesn't, and like help you dig the gold out so that you are making the most of your work with ketamine. Hello. Welcome back to Ketamine Connections. My name is Krishtal. So excited you're here. Guess what, guys? We're on YouTube now. So if you're watching this on YouTube, do you like this new background? I have been slowly working on setting up my background for filming. Keep coming back because it's going to keep changing. I definitely want to lift this little photo higher because it's not a photo. Actually, it's an art piece by a dear friend that I think is just like so beautiful, and I'm blocking it. So keep coming back. And if you have any suggestions, if you're watching this on YouTube and you have any suggestions of what you'd like to see behind me, like shout it out. Let me know. I'm so excited to make this space just like really fun recording space. And yeah, welcome back to the show. I'm so excited you're here. Today's episode actually comes from one of your questions, one of the listener questions. I am obsessed watching this community grow, of like having you guys reach out, of just feeling your engagement. I've said this so many times. When you are engaging with the show, when you're like asking questions, giving feedback, leaving reviews, it's just like, it gives me life, right? Like I am sitting here talking to you, but like an imaginary you. When you actually respond and tell me what you're getting from the show, ask further questions or reach out, then I'm like, oh, it's you, right? Like now I have a name to put with this imaginary you that I'm talking with right now. So there's been a lot of that recently, and it just makes me so excited for this community, for this show, and to keep answering your questions. So quick note about that, because there's a few different ways to reach out. Well, yeah, one less now, because if you've been following along, we got kicked off of Instagram because you can't really talk about psychedelics on Instagram, which is a shame, right? We're not selling drugs. I always promote for the ethical use of these substances, but whatchamacallit? Yes, you can no longer reach out on Instagram. However, there is a button in the show notes that says leave fan mail. We love fan mail. Those are like little love notes. They're like little like anonymous right? Like if you were in, I don't know, middle school and you like left a note in someone's desk and didn't sign your name, that's what those are. We cannot respond, which is a shame because some of you have been asking questions there. And this is one of those answers of me responding to one of the questions there, but I can't respond to you directly, which like, I really want to. I want to give you the answers as fast as I can. Like as soon as you ask them, I want to respond to your questions, but fan mail doesn't let us do that. It's just a one-way loop system where it drops into an inbox that we check, but we can't answer it, unfortunately. If you want to reach out and like have an answer, if you want to like talk to me, I'm the one who responds to all the emails. Some of you have reached out and been kind of like shocked by that. We're a small team, we're a growing team, which is super exciting, but we are still a very small team. So yes, until further notice, I am the one responding to all the emails. So if you link down in the show notes, any one of the links that goes to my website, there's like my contact information there. So just reach out through email. That's the best way to get in touch with me if you want a response, if you like, whether you have a question you want me to respond to, or whether you want me to say thanks, right? Like you have something nice to say and you want to hear me respond saying thanks, like that's the best way to do that. And the other thing too is if you click on our website is under construction right now. So sorry for all the dead links. We know it. We're fixing it. We're like in a huge migration right now. But if you go to the website and you put your email address into any one of the boxes, even if it's a dead box, we still get it. And we'll add you to our newsletter. And our newsletter is really fun. You get information there like that you wouldn't get otherwise, not through the podcast, definitely not through social media, not through YouTube, not through any other way. Literally just this week that I'm recording this, not the week that you're listening to it, but literally just this week, we sent out a free subliminal recording because we ran a subliminal workshop. A lot of people came and a lot of people loved it. And a lot of people like got a lot out of it. One of the things that they got out of it was their own personalized subliminal recording. And I was like, you know what? For those that didn't come, like, wouldn't it be so fun to have a like just amazing subliminal recording? So I recorded one that has just really basic affirmation. So one of the things that we did in the workshop was we talked about how to speak directly to your subconscious mind, because the gate between the conscious and the subconscious mind has like a guardian. And so if you're right with like classical affirmation work, if you're like, I'm a millionaire, and your subconscious mind is like, have you checked your bank account? And it just kind of swats it away. There's ways to bridge that gap to get past that guardian of the mind, to speak directly to the subconscious mind. So all the affirmations in the subliminal that I sent out speak directly to your subconscious mind, whether like regardless of where you are on your journey to believing what those affirmations are. They were affirmations like, I trust the path of my life. I trust that I am supported. And I said it in different ways that are a little more, like I said, bridging that gap. There was things in there about feeling safe, about feeling abundant, all of these things that we kind of all want, right? The human experience is pretty basic. So get on the newsletter, subscribe somewhere in the show notes, somewhere on the website, and let's stay in touch. I love staying in touch. So, and we don't sell email addresses. We don't like spam you or anything like that. It is literally just the stuff that is relevant to the podcast, to the work that we're doing, and hopefully stuff that you will also find exciting. All right. So today's topic, should you have someone in the room with you when you're doing ketamine? So this seems like a really basic question, but it actually taps into a few really, really important themes to psychedelic use. And it's a good question. It's a really good question. I'm making a whole episode about it. Obviously, it's a great question. And it's also a good question because any question is a good question. I love questions. Curiosity is my favorite thing in life. Stay curious out there. So should you have someone in the room with you when you're doing ketamine? Now, I will say a few things about this. I mean, okay, the first place that I'll start with is, okay, the reason that I think this is such a brilliant question is that there is number one rule of psychedelic use, right? We talk about it all the time, set and setting, okay? So when we're talking about setting, and this is like, if you listen to the previous episodes about like what you get to avoid when you do ketamine in a clinic or when you do ketamine over other psychedelics, we talk about the safety that is provided in a clinical setting, right? It's like a push and pull. Like, yes, it's extra safe because there are some sort of bumpers around what can be done, but also then it's like, if you have associations with the medical system, then you have to kind of do the work to overcome that in order to feel safe. I get it. But overall, it's way more reliable than some of the like underground fake shaman work that's happening. So listen to that episode if that's something that's interesting to you. And so setting is your physical environment, right? It's like literally where you're doing the work. Set is what we offer specifically for preparation, right? Your mindset going into it. It's why you want to set an intention. It's why you want to get your mindset right before you go into the session. It's why you want to like set your North Star and also prepare for worst case scenarios, which is everything that we do with our preparation stuff. There's more of that coming out soon. So if you're interested in that, like I said, get on the newsletter so you can be in the know when that comes out. So set is your mindset, right? That has a lot more variables than setting, which is like, where are you physically, right? Like you're in a clinic, like what kind of room are you in, things like that. And that's definitely something to take in consideration before you do ketamine somewhere. Like check out the clinic, right? Like go and see the rooms. Is it a place where you feel safe to relax? Like, I guess I think lighting is really important. If you have an eye mask, then it's less important, but like you want to, right? Ketamine's a dissociative. You want to be taken up and out of your body. And so you will have a lot less trouble doing that if you're in a place where you feel safe. And that goes into today's episode too, of like, well, should someone be in the room with you? So the first thing I'll say is that there's no should, right? It's really up to you and what you feel better with. Now, this question of like, should or is it better if someone's in the room with you, is like literally one of the most subjective, like personal to you topics in this whole thing. And I will say too, as you're exploring clinics, as you're exploring like where you'll do ketamine, different clinics have different protocols. So you might want to just like understand what is better for you before you choose a clinic. Because if you're someone who like, I want someone in the room with me, but the clinic doesn't offer that, well, that's not a good fit for you. And vice versa. If you're someone who's like, I don't want someone in the room with me, and the clinic is like one of those CAP clinics, ketamine-assisted psychotherapy, where someone is in the room with you, then that's not a good fit. And isn't it beautiful that we have like different strokes for different folks? Isn't it beautiful that you get to decide like what it is that you want? So that's my goal with today's episode, is not to like promote one over the other, but rather to help you determine what is best for you. So in the work that I've been doing for the past 4 years, working with different clients who are, doing ketamine at different clinics, some offer someone in the room, some places don't. Everywhere that, well, that's not true. Not everywhere I've done ketamine has not had someone in the room, but there's different like layers, right? It's not like someone's in the room or someone's not. So we'll dive into that. Let me not get ahead of myself. So, okay. So here's what I've noticed about people that want someone in the room. Okay. A lot of times it's people that have never done psychedelics that are very comfortable with people. First of all, if anyone having someone in the room with you, like you need to be comfortable. You need to be someone who's comfortable with people, right? Like I work with a lot of people that are not comfortable with people, like even the people closest to them, because of trauma, because of other things. So it's like, if you're not someone who likes having people around when you're vulnerable, when you're like somewhat incapacitated, when you're, just like vulnerable, like you're not going to enjoy that in ketamine. So just know that, right? If you are someone that likes having people around, or you have like your favorite people, I've had people do that where they've had partners or friends or, people that they love go in the room with them, then that's like, right? It's subjective. It's who you are. So in my experience, most of the people that do like having someone in the room with them are the people that are newer to the psychedelic space, that want someone in there that they can like reach out their hand and be like, hey, will you hold my hand? That can reach out and like ask for help, or even just someone that gets a lot of comfort from knowing that someone is in the room with them. That's the first thing, is someone who is newer is generally going to like having someone in the room with them. Okay. The other consideration is if you're someone who has like medical considerations, right? If you're prone to panic attacks, if you get freaked out by being alone or things like that, then you're going to want someone in the room with you. Now, I was talking about this earlier. It's a good time to include this, is there's different tiers, right? So there are clinics where someone is in the room with you like the whole time. And there's clinics where someone is not in the room with you the whole time. And they usually, not always, but usually they'll give you like a call button, right? Like, so you can call someone if you need to, or there's clinics that have a camera on you and they monitor the cameras. And so that's kind of like bridging the like someone in the room with you and someone not in the room, is like they're like clinics using different technology to do that. And so if you're someone who is prone to panic attacks and you want someone in the room with you, then like most clinics will allow you to bring someone, even the clinics that don't have, right, like trip sitters or guides like in the room with you as a service that they offer, they'll let you bring someone in. I've never heard of a clinic not allowing someone be in the room with you when you ask for it for a specific reason. And if you're someone who is prone to panic attacks and but doesn't want someone in the room with you, then you might want to seek out a clinic that has like a call button or a camera or something where you can contact their staff like immediately, with knowing that someone will come help you if you need that. So you have that like safety of journeying solo, but safety of also knowing that you can call someone in. And then I've already talked about this, right? Like there are clinics or even CAP practitioners. CAP, K-A-P, is ketamine assisted psychotherapy. It's really growing as a field, which I think is so cool. I'm meeting new therapists like literally every week that are working with CAP. And with that, right, ketamine assisted psychotherapy, the person is in the room with you the whole time of the session. So if that is the clinic's protocol, or if that's your practitioner's protocol, then you're signing up for that, right? You're signing up for someone to be in the room with you and to see you at to see, feel, experience you at your most vulnerable state. And so just know that, right? And that can be terrifying. It could be therapeutic. It could be both. It could be comfortable. It could be any number of things, but just know that that is something that is built into some of the clinics and some of the therapeutic settings. Okay, so to summarize, you're likely going to want someone in the room if you like people, like and trust people. You have people that you like and trust that you want in the room with you. If you're newer to psychedelic work and you find comfort of someone being there in case you have a question, need a tissue or something like that, or if you're signing up for a therapy or a clinic that includes that in what their offering is. So let's switch gears and talk about when you wouldn't want someone in the room with you. So it's kind of the opposite of what we were just talking about, right? So the first thing to consider is that if someone is in the room with you, their energy, their presence is going to influence you, right? You might hear them breathing, even if you have headphones and you have music on, which I always recommend as well. You're going to feel their presence, and their presence is going to influence you. And this is something that is really important. And I have some guidelines to go through after I go through this section of like, okay, if you are going to have someone in the room with you, here's some things to consider. But the first thing that I'll say is like, well, choose that person wisely, right? It's like if you're going into a vulnerable state, and I say this because I've seen this happen before, where people are inviting in into their ketamine space people that are angry, people that are in a bad mood, like people that aren't pleasant to be around because probably because of people pleasing, and they're just like inviting those people in because that person wants to be there and I don't want to hurt their feelings. So just really consider that the person in the room, make sure that they're someone that you want affecting your energy, and make sure that there's someone that is someone that is there for you and for your journey, not for any other reason. The next reason why you wouldn't want someone in the room with you is this ability to fully surrender, right? If someone is in the room with you, even if it's someone you've known forever and you're super comfortable around, maybe like a spouse or whatever, they're still like, you don't know what's going to come out of ketamine. And even if you've done ketamine before, every trip is going to be different. And so you want to leave space for this full surrender, this full like drop in, this full like release that might not be possible if someone is in the room with you. Also, if you have that time alone, right? Like one of the benefits of working with ketamine is that it's a very introspective medicine. It's going to take you in. It's going to take you out, right? It's a dissociative. It's going to take you out, but it's also going to take you in. And so if someone's in the room, you might feel self-conscious. You might feel censored, right? You might feel weird, right? Psychedelic medicine is weird freaking medicine. So if you feel weird, you're doing it right. But a lot of people coming to ketamine are new to altered states of consciousness, to feeling weird, to expressing weird, and all of these things that having someone in the room might lead to censorship, in which case maybe you don't want someone in the room with you. And then also, like, part of that freedom to surrender piece is if someone's in the room with you and they notice you uncomfortable, right? Maybe you're crying, maybe you're expressing difficult emotion, maybe you're like uncomfortable in some way. That person with like all of the good meaning, all of the best intentions might intervene, and that is that could be a real disservice to your process, right? Like there is a reason why we go into these uncomfortable experiences, because the pressure of these uncomfortable experiences has lessons for us. There's this like old parable. I'm not sure where it comes from, but it's one that's used a lot in this space. So here's how it goes. This guy is walking down the street and he sees a cocoon on the ground, and he sees that it's like moving, that it's struggling, that it's agitating, right? And he was like, oh, let me like this butterfly wants to come out of the cocoon. Let me help this butterfly. So he takes a knife and he cuts it open, and then just like blob falls out of the cocoon, because part of how the butterfly builds its wings strong enough to fly, part of how part of the dissolution process and the reformation process of the caterpillar going to a butterfly is like part of that metamorphosis is struggle, is tension, right? Like the butterfly needs to like push its wings against the cocoon to make them strong enough so that when they come out, the butterfly is actually able to fly. And that is really analogous with psychedelic experiences. They are designed to be uncomfortable because they're meant to break patterns in our lives. Like if you were comfortable, then you're not going to be inspired to change. They're like, they're either an impetus or they're like a little tipping point of the discomfort that you're already experiencing. And so if someone's in the room with you, they might want to help you with that. And maybe they can, right? Like, again, this is so subjective. Like maybe reaching out and holding someone's hand is like, wow, like groundbreaking new. Like maybe you're someone who's like hyper independent, doesn't ask for help. And like having someone in the room to like reach out and hold your hand is like going to be so medicinal and so transformative. And maybe the opposite. Maybe you're someone who's like, no, I have been relying on people too much and I actually need to do this on my own. So again, this is a really subjective topic, and my intention here is just to like give you ideas and options so you can consider for yourself like what kind of person you are. And then, as I said earlier, right, like if you're doing ketamine at a clinic, you want to check on the protocol of the clinic because they have one. So just check in with them and understand what the protocol is, and then like test it against everything in this episode to like understand, is that the right protocol for you? But then there's also like my at-home ketamine people, right? Like the people that are working with Mind Bloom or any of the other at-home clinics where they're getting lozenges sent to your house. And so you have a little bit more of a wild card there, right? You have this is where you get to make the decision. And with Mind Bloom, they do require that someone's in the house, but then you get to decide, do you want them in the room or not? So just listen to all the points of this episode. Like, do you trust people? Do you need more, do you need to build more connection with people? Is that part of your growth? Or is it part of your growth to be more independent? Are you going to be able to fully surrender and express yourself and be weird and say weird things and maybe like, I don't know, make noises or whatever with someone in the room? Is the person in the room the right person in the room? Are they going to influence your energy in a way that is serving your intention? So these are all things to consider as you're thinking about like, okay, do I want someone in the room with me or not during my ketamine sessions? Okay, so to kind of bring this episode home, here's what I want to leave you with. I want to leave you with practical tips, whether you are journeying with a person in the room or journeying solo in the room. So let's start with someone in the room. Number one, set really clear expectations. Do you want them to talk? Do you want them to provide help, offer help, ask questions? Or do you want them just be like silent and just like there if you have things, right? Like who's initiating any sort of interaction, right? Like, do you want them to intervene, or do you want to be the one to reach out for help? If it's not someone that is able to be quiet and like be there for you, it's just not the right person. And that's okay, right? So setting really clear expectations on that person's presence, that person's communication, and that person's service in service of your journey. And which goes into what I spoke about earlier, like make sure it's the right person, right? Like there might be people who are like, oh, I would love to be there for you, but this is someone who's really anxious and asks a lot of questions. And you're like, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just doing this for the first time. Like, why are you asking me all these questions? Like not the best vibe, right? And that's okay, right? Like, guys, I get anxiety, but you don't want an anxious person in the room with you, especially if you're anxious. Now you're just like feeding each other's anxiety. So just like make sure that it's a person that is calm, that is present, that is someone that is in service to you. I cannot stress that enough. So much of our society is making things about yourself. Find someone that is in service of you and your journey, that's not going to take it personally, that's not going to like question anything, that's going to like be like whatever you need 100%. Okay. And with that too, like make sure it's someone that you can be weird about, right? Like if you start making, I don't know, like it's very common in ketamine to just be like, wow, wow, wow. And then maybe some like funnier noises come out. Maybe you start like making funny noises, or maybe you start speaking gibberish, right? Like someone who's not going to be like, oh my God, that was so weird. Oh my God, you're so weird. Like someone who's just like cool, right? Someone who's like in celebration of your self expression, even if it's, especially if it's weird, not even if it's weird, especially if it's weird. So that's something to consider too, like getting the right person in there, setting the expectations with that person, and making sure that they can follow through on it. Okay. Okay. Now, what if you don't want someone in the room and you're journeying solo? So, if you don't want someone in the room and you're journeying solo, then I mean, you want to create a really nice space for yourself, right? Whether you're at home or in a clinic. I always recommend really comfortable clothing, similar to what I'm wearing here today. Clothing that, right, like one of the intentions of ketamine is to lift you up and out of your body. If you have tight pants on, if you have an itchy sweater on, you're not going to be able to travel up and out of your body, and that is going to be a really huge disservice to you, to your journey, to your process. So make sure that you set yourself up with comfortable clothing, a cozy blanket, cozy socks, an eye mask for sure. Just have it nearby. Even if you don't use it, you're going to want to have it close by. And also set yourself up with anything you might need during the journey. So you want to set yourself up with good music. Make sure, if you're using some streaming service, my recommendation is to make it available offline, right? Like download it to your phone so there's no chance of interruption. There's no chance of it like buffering. There's no chance of anything happening. You want to download it to your device, and you want to get really solid trip music. If you're not sure what good trip music is, I guess leave a comment below and I can do another episode about that. But yeah, you want to have all the things that you need with you, right? Like you want comfortable clothes, you want that comfortable blanket, you want the eye mask, you want a journal and a pen. Maybe you're going to come out of it and be like, oh my gosh, I want to write this stuff down. You want water, right? You don't want to over consume water. I talk about that with like how to prepare for ketamine. It's one of the earlier episodes. You don't want to drink too much water because you don't want to have to pee in the middle of the session, but you want to be hydrated. So you want to kind of like drink slowly before the ketamine, but also like have water nearby so you can take small sips. And if you're journeying solo, right, a lot of the clinics have rules. You can't drive yourself to or from the sessions. So you'll likely get someone to give you a ride. Same rules apply to the person that's giving you a ride as did with like if that person's in the room with you. You want to check in on communication protocol. You want to make sure they're there for you, and you want to make sure they're like solid, calm, pleasant vibes. But if you're journeying at home, again, a lot of these at-home clinics, there's so many of them now. Just make sure someone's in the house, right? Like make sure someone is available in case you do have questions, in case you do need something, in case, I don't know, in case you need to reach out. I'm not going to implant suggestions. And the other thing that I have completely blanked on talking about is one of the benefits of having someone in the room with you. And this is like what a lot of CAP practitioners, this is kind of their like selling point, I would say, is that they'll take notes for you, right? They'll write down all the things that you say and they'll use that in sessions later. And so that's one of the benefits of having someone in the room with you. They can write down the things that you say. Some of it is like comprehensible and some of it's not, just so you know. Not everything that comes up in the sessions is the gold. Sometimes it's a part of the gold. But if you're journeying solo and you want to do that, you want to have a recording of like, oh, well, what's even happening? What am I even saying? Am I even talking, right? Not everybody speaks out loud during the sessions. Some people, I think this is really sweet. Some people like think they're speaking out loud, but they're not. So if you're journeying solo, use the voice recorder on your phone. Okay. And that way you can do the voice recording and just have that available. in case you want to like listen back and dig for gold. All right, that is it for me today. I have covered the pros and the cons and the yeses and the nos of like whether to have someone in the room or not. Again, there's no should, there's no best practice. It's literally like, what do you prefer, right? And that can be confronting sometimes. It's just like, just tell me what's the best answer. Just tell me what's the right thing to do. That's the thing. When you start getting into psychedelic medicine, it's really about you and your journey and your own healing. And it gets out of the space of like the shoulds and the prescriptions and things like that. So just go through all the points and like be like, okay, is this right? Is this, do I want this? Do I want this? Do I want this? Like, am I the kind of person that trusts people? Am I the kind of person that like can surrender when people are in the room? Like, just go through all the points in this episode. In fact, why don't we'll make a sheet that you can download below. So, and which is a great way to get on our newsletter. So if you're like, okay, Anna, you're like all over the place. Happy Friday. Thanks for being on the ride with me. I will have my team organize it into a PDF that you can download so you can just like check the boxes and we'll go from there. And also remember that, you know, with ketamine, right? Like we talk so much on this podcast, like it's not a one and done. It's not like you're going to go into one infusion, one IM, one like sublingual, and like all of a sudden your life's going to transform. Like maybe, yes. And there's a protocol, right? There's like multiple sessions, there's integration, there's like all of this stuff, right? Like it really is. I love that analogy of making a soup, right? It's like one ingredient in the soup is the ketamine. And so you have the ability, when you're doing multiple sessions, you have the ability to try it different ways of like, okay, for this session, I'll do this. For this session, I'll try that. And just like be experimental with it, right? This is an experimental therapy, not just like the macro, like meta. It is experimental, but also like every session can be different as well. And that's the power of integration, is that you get to like really work with someone to troubleshoot what works and what doesn't, and like help you dig the gold out so that you are making the most of your work with ketamine. All right. So I would love to hear from you, because I do tend to work with one population more than the other, of like whether people want people in the room or not. But I'm not going to spoil like which one that is. I want to hear from you. Either like leave it in a review, shoot me an email, or if you're watching this on YouTube, like leave it in one of the comments. Like, do you prefer to be in it solo, or do you prefer someone in the room with you? There's no right, there's no wrong. We're going to celebrate whatever it is, and like keep an open mind, right? Maybe if you're someone who prefers it one way, maybe you can like explain why, especially if you have experience, right? So many people that listen to this podcast are just getting started with their ketamine journey. So if you have experience and you really prefer one way over the other, and you've had so many therapeutic benefits, like leave us a comment, let us know, because this is one of the questions that came up from the listeners. And that is all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review. We're stacking up the reviews. I would love for you to leave a review. Like I said, it helps me keep it interactive, helps me feel engaged in this process, and helps me get to know you, because this is for you. So thanks so much for being here. Please stay curious. My name is Krishtal, and I'll see you next time on the Ketamine Connections podcast. Bye.